So, no beard, no hair, no suit. Guess Peter Cat Recording Co. was right. People do change. I concur. Third year in a row. You think we'd have it down to a science by now? Yes, well, you aren't the most reliable narrator, and I'm not the nicest version of you, and a lot of things happen with you every year for us to have a predetermined course of conversation. I see we got more eloquent. We always have been. Yeah, so straight to the point. This year changed how I view people. It sort of shaped how my interactions would go and how I will let people in. So I started hiding behind big words again. Clearly. Wanna know what else happened? Redundant? Well, obviously. So the year started off strong. This new love we discussed last time was around for the New Year's. The call at 12 a.m. in the middle of a noisy club, the exchange of I love yous. That felt facetious. But our last promises to stick around were made, and then I went back, and she was as comfortable before I left for winter break. So she's still around, I gather, or. Again? Listen. Trust. Not my fault. I tried very adamantly, but it just didn't work out. What then? It wasn't either of us that was the problem. It was just compassion. Compassion. Well, obviously, it is the baseline problem of Animalia after all. Without compassion, the frog would have never died from the scorpion sting, and I would have never always been on the receiving end of bad news, and I would have never had learned loss or grief or. Slow down. What? Nothing. Better. Go on, without all the metaphors, please. Then came the big health scare, and she already had gone by that time, so I was just dealing with the health scare alone. I relied on a few friends because it made sense to have the community I built aware of what was going on with me. Didn't have to only let them in to see the partying and debauchery. I finally decided to open up, but common courtesy, which well we both know isn't very common, came as a reminder. Love, a good irony clause in the baseline human nature. So I picked myself back up, got back in the race, told myself this is life, and Sinatra my way back into the life of the one. Wait, did you? Yes. And what then? I was 14,000 kilometers away from the one, and it didn't make sense to make big promises, but we talked. We talked day and night. Her classes, my classes. I would video call as much as I could when I had the time, and she would from her commutes. It was a perfect system of harmony and understanding, and the semester went by very smoothly. Teeter became the stop for fun. The most random people would come and drink with me. I became the god of the cave. Oh, that was a fun memory. And classes started to get fun once I realized I have someone I have loved all my life back home waiting for me to come back. Life was, besides the usual bullshit, very good. I hate when you do a positive tangent because they always have a downhill. Not this one, not entirely. Listen, how many times have you said that in sentence in 2024? Lost count. But this tangent goes on. Semester end came and I was supposed to be in Switzerland when summer came around, but the visa did not come through and I had to go back to India early, and after an entire year away, it felt very sudden, but I was very happy going back. And how was the trip? Went around the 6th of May, very calm for the first few days, eating, football, and catching up with friends and people in my life. I was trying to integrate myself into my life there. Slow assimilation through constant effort, and it went back and forth, but it went fine enough. Thought of doing a big party for the first birthday back home, but I was all partied out from the spring semester, so called up a few friends and drank and talked, and it was a calm night of big speeches and even bigger events. It was, by all means, the perfect birthday where nothing went wrong. Happy? Happy. Always, but not the next day when I woke up. I realized the one was not the one, and it broke my heart. I drank the entire next day and put in the effort, but the way she talked the night before, it came to me that she really wasn't the one for me, at least at that given time, and all my patience and admiration for her had to fade soon, or she would become my god, and I would become her fanatic. Though she left before I could ever express my concerns, and I never called after that day. Something in me stopped. So, all summer in Delhi then. Must have been hard to keep a facade. Left in June, went to Europe, got in big trouble twice, had my fun, but before I left, I met someone new. I met someone no one I knew, and I just couldn't for the life of me stop thinking about her. I had met her just once for coffee. She unknowingly poisoned me with hazelnut, but I did not have a reaction that day. And that day when I met her, I went with an innocent intention, but something about her And something about that day made me want to keep going back to her. She sounds Stella-y. Still around? Very much so. After the hardest semester at college, after a psychotic break, after all that happened since I entered IU again, she stuck around. And what? There hasn't been a dull moment with her until now. I am obsessed with her, and she's more in love with me every single time I talk to her. I gave her parts of the city I have loved for a long time to tell her that she truly matters to me. It isn't sort of out there, but I really think this would be the first time I grow exponentially, both physically in terms of motivation from them to be better and emotionally growing kinder and more understanding. She has made me into her Clark Kent and I have no complaints. Why try again? If you lost the person you claim to be the love of your life, why try again with someone you know nothing about? Because I realized that this love I always desired from this life, right? The love that I have given up so carelessly, the love strong enough to move mountains, and love that makes me take transatlantic flights just for a brief chance of seeing my partner in person. This immortalizing love that I desire lays in me. And if it can be in me, it can be in another too. And if it is mine, and if mine is written for someone, surely it is written that whoever has this love in them is written for me as well. Are we back to writing? Well, we are writing. I assume I won't have time next year, so I have a lot of stuff written down that I will print. But realistically, I find it pointless to record and post things right now since I am myself going through too much to even keep track of, let alone find time to do things I love. Though she has been very supportive, I just haven't felt the groove. As much as I love to listen about your love life, moving on, what else? All the mistakes before her, I understand you don't want to hear about, though there were many. I trusted the wrong people, spent the last bits of my summer in the most USA place of low-key Americana, and spent that time decompressing with occasional bouts of hysteria. Afternoon beers as the sun set on a porch felt like I finally got to slow down. It was strange because I had been so over-caffeinated and overworked all the time before, socially, academically, professionally, that the month became my time of comfort and slowing down. But the semester after that was a ride for sure. Do you want to hear about it? Well, yes, obviously. So, what else happened? Oh, yeah, after a couple of years of not wanting it, I couldn't stop it anymore and became a household name again. It really made all the negative stuff that happened in the last 6 months of the year bearable. What did you do? No, nothing like that. I had an apartment that could host, and that is what I did. From pre-games to parties to weekenders to having people over every day, making a mess out of a kitchen, turning a loft in the middle of Midwest America into a student uni accommodation in central London was not an easy task, but someone had to do it. So you partied again. Didn't we decide to end that side of you? We did. And I didn't go on a spree of debauchery, leaving in my path people and places hurt alike. I more so got intoxicated till I could not feel the emotional weight on my shoulders. And I know how wrong that is, but really, I just needed a break from the real world. That isn't too much to ask, is it? You know what? Not really. I also would like to know if you have plans to continue this or go back to moderation. So, yeah, I was dealt bad cards again. Bub, I'm starting to believe you're throwing your chips at the wrong tables. That is sort of the final realization of the year. Let me give you the whole story so I can build up to that teaching. So the apartment became a party house, right? As the semester started, I was like asked when I'm doing a function, and my response was whenever I feel like. It started to become a habit, and later it became a necessity, especially after my flatmate got himself deported. Sorry, what? Flatmate got himself deported? Oh yeah, the funniest and most wild thing that happened all year. So my flatmate, who was also my go-to guy, who I thought was someone I could trust, got himself deported. Heck, I did spring break with that guy. Backtracking to March a little, but what was spring break like? Puerto Rico, oh what a dream. Jump from a plane saying Aham Gachami and sat 60 feet under the water chanting Om, meeting new people every minute, speaking all the Spanish I knew, and got a beautiful messy jersey. It was the most random of adventures, but it was so incredibly memorable. I don't think I can do a 2025 spring break. I love that. I love you loving life. That's all I want. Okay, getting back to the deported best friend. Right, yeah. Okay, so this guy who I basically elder brothered came into this party apartment I told you about with the nicest of words, and I should have realized that it is all they were, but I was too trusting. He told me that just like me, he too had plans of transferring after this semester ended, and said he was taking a varying amount of credits from both IU and a Bloomington Community College, and 99% of the coursework he had was online. Wait, wasn't the allowed limit of online classes 1? So we did know what he said was a lie. Yeah, go on. In truth, however, he broke up with his long-term girlfriend over the summer, met someone new, and then promised that he would come back to her. The mastermind that he was told everyone a different story. Yes, me as well. And the truth was he had no credits anywhere. He came into the United States with 0 credits and entered during the ad drop week. So I'm guessing that is what he told the immigration people, that he would register once he reached campus. Lied to me constantly about going to a scuba class, when in reality the only time he left the apartment was to either go buy a vape, alcohol, groceries, or meet the Office of International Services to discuss what he should be doing now that he has missed the add and drop date. And he is in violation of his visa status. He later said that he is going to go meet his father in Bali. Indian kid, Indian parent, by the way. So Bali made no sense, and I naturally called the rest of the boys to talk to him because he seemed out of my reach. He went to meet his father, who we all later learned was being defrauded out of $25,000 by his own son. And when he tried to enter through Chicago airport, they held him overnight and deported him the next morning. So, yeah. No, you got me wrong. How did this affect you? Being my go-to guy, I trusted him with a lot of stuff, including the lease and all the payment stuff. I trusted him with my stuff as much as he did me with his. So I assumed everything was in order, which I later found out was not. Details are fairly pointless when I look back at it now, but later, when he realized he left all his stuff in the apartment, he expected me to pack all of it and ship it to Pune, India, without any regard to me and what is going on in my life. And what exactly was going on. So, final exams was not a good time. I felt alone there in the apartment, and my agoraphobia took control of my life. I was lonely, and the level of personal conflict that I was dealing with at that time, family, friends, and the lack thereof, any form of connection to that place, finances, distance from the world, etc., 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 etc. And I am ashamed to say this, but I had at the end of the year almost lost my mind. Almost? Because I figured it out in the end. You always do. So, Delhi again. Landed the night before Christmas and became my new partner's Christmas gift. And I didn't know when exactly, but I just felt like I had known her. Like I knew the back of my hand, and I feel like I had known her for eternity. And the entire time till New Year's, life went by and my days were spent winter swoon, drunk on ecstasy from my happiness, and smiled my way to the New Year. Like someone was sitting on my shoulder telling me everything was going to be alright, and she was there throughout all of it. It was absolutely beautiful. Anything else you want to share before we head back to our normal life? You can always talk to me, but talking to me like this is only once a year. If there's anything else, go on. No regrets this year. Too much has affected me in the light for me to remember what I think of in the dark. Maybe another apology, but this one to myself for being so hard on me. A threat, but not really, to the person who knows if I ever see them again. If I'm ever so unfortunate that I cross paths with them again, then it is on sight. Maybe a clarification from someone I will never see again. Knowing I never will, what is the point of asking for an apology? A clarification would be nice though, but really, I wish what I could not do this year, I definitely do in the next. And also, one thing I keep forgetting about is my next book that I keep working on. I hope in 2025, I make sure that Stella Roosevelt, the girl I wish I never met, comes out.